Welcome to the Running Refresh Podcast, where hot takes and debates on the sport of running are more than welcome in the studio.
I am joined by the greatest name in cross country and track and field, Biel Wiel. Great teammate and opponent. We ran together at St. Cloud Apollo High School for 1 year and then competed against each other the past 2 years as I was at Western Illinois and he was at University of St. Thomas, both Division I programs in the Summit League. So Biel, please introduce yourself. Where are you from? What do you want the people to know about you?
Oh, you flatter me, Logan. Thank you for that. So everybody, I'm Biel Wiel. I'm a senior at St. Thomas, my final year. My major is entrepreneurship. A minor is American culture and difference. And so I grew up actually in the Grand Rapids, Blaine area. I went to Blaine High School, but then I moved to St. Cloud and went to Paul High School. And so I met this man, Logan Lummel, over here. Yeah, so I'm an entrepreneurship major and a runner. I've been running track cross country all of high school as well, too.
So today we have a legendary perspective from a 23, 26 8K runner, which is like 440-mile pace for 5 miles on a cross-country course. So I'm Logan Lummel, your host. I post running-related content every Sunday at noon. So I'm going to outline the episode quick. First, we're going to start with a new segment just for Biel called Running Like an Entrepreneur. Second, I'm going to interview Biel. And then third, we're going to bring it home with rapid refresh like always. So first segment, Running Like an Entrepreneur, is about statements related to entrepreneurship that runners can relate to and learn about. So entrepreneurship is like setting up and running a business, right?
That's right.
Just tell me whether you agree or disagree and then like why. So first statement, run your own race. You agree, disagree with that?
I would say I agree 100%.
How is that the same in business?
Yeah, for sure. In business, what they'll teach us a lot about is understanding our environment, understanding our competitors. Because when you start a business, you will always have some sort of competitors to think about. People are also in the field there with you. So you're creating your company, you're building your vision, trying to build up your product, your service, whatever it is. And so you got to be mindful of who's competitors, who's in your field, but you can't be distracted by competitors. You can't plan your business or move based on what you're thinking about other competitors or what you fear about them. Like you need to have focus on what you're doing yourself. Because some people, like if you're an entrepreneur, they may try to move too quickly with their product because they're afraid someone might see their idea or might outcompete them. Or they might or maybe they think they need to make a better product than everybody else. Maybe they think I need a perfect product. And that's basically in comparison to other people too as well. You can't move too fast or too slow based on people around you. You got to make sure you run your race and know where you're at. And so I'd say I agree because I think also in cross country too as well, in running, you got to be able to run your own. You got to be able to run your own race. As in like you have people in your field too, but you can't let them distract you or keep you off your pace as well. So definitely in both entrepreneurship and race and running, you got to run your own race.
Wow. Well said. Well said. All right. Next statement. You're going to fail. What you do next is important. What do you think about that?
Oh yeah, this is by probably I don't even know the rest, but it's probably the best one ever. I mean, failure is a huge thing with running an entrepreneurship. Like failure is so fundamental to it, I can't even tell you, Logan. Okay, yeah. So you said failure, and what you're gonna do next?
Yeah, you're going to fail. What you do next is important.
Okay, I'll start with entrepreneurship again. So yeah, you will definitely failure is like a key part of entrepreneurship. There's no way you avoid it. And I wouldn't say it's even a bad thing too. It's a part of the process. When you're building, let's say, a new product or a service, you're not just gonna build a perfect product. You're gonna probably build like a prototype. You gotta test that prototype. So when you're probably testing with customers too, you're making a product or service, you got to go put it out there, see what works and what does not. You will have bad numbers. You will have bad reviews. You will fail in the sense that things don't work, where you had expectations in a plan and it failed literally. But you can't let that put you down. You have to, because it's all about, what you said, what's next. Because you fail, and that's the key like pivot point, and then what's next is what brings you forward. Because when you fail with the product, you say it flops. You learn from that. You say, okay, here's what was good, what was bad, and I choose the next step based on what I learned. Even if you have a full business, a product is working and that business fails at some point, you can't. That's not like a failure is never an end point. It's only teaches you something new. You go forward with that. And the same thing with running as well. I've had some running can be like very like emotional, because when you like do so bad and you have high hopes and you just get a bad race, a bad like loss, that can hurt.
Yeah.
I feel like I've gotten like, it's taking me some real reflection, perspective taking to not get beat down by failure. When you like, especially people like think you're gonna do very well in a race, you think you do well too, and you just kind of like just flop it. It's like that stuff sucks. But it's all about what's next. You gotta look at what happened. You gotta say like, I don't know, was it what I ate? Was this competitors had a good day? Was it the weather? Like, was it just I just didn't focus enough? You gotta understand. You gotta be aware. You gotta learn from that. So once you learn from your failure, you can move forward. And that's progress. And things won't always just be success, success, success. There will be failure. So we gotta be ready for that and move forward. So both entrepreneurship and in running, definitely for sure, I agree. There'll be failure, and then you gotta do what's next.
Again, well said. Great. I can just tell. I mean, you could sell me anything right now. Like you're just flowing. You're just great. You got good statements, everything. Yeah, I could totally see why this is what you're built for. Next, consistency is key.
Consistency is key. I have to agree again. I'd have to agree again. I didn't really realize it before early in my career how important consistency is, but like consistency comes before so many other things. Like for example, you don't need to be. A lot of people don't come into a cross country or track and they're just a great runner. You know, they could be like bottom of their team too as well. But what matters most is who is consistent. Some people may be really good in the beginning, some people may be like might be lower on the team. But whoever is most consistent with training, most consistent with learning, most consistent with being healthy towards the body and mind, they will reap greater rewards than those who will start out ahead. When you're consistent with things, you can pull forward beyond other people. Even in a race, too, happens in a race. People who are consistently focused in the race and giving it their best will beat a better runner, if they lose their focus. Whoever can be consistent and repeat good actions will be able to triumph over many other factors, many other people as well. And I'd say in entrepreneurship as well, like I said, there's a lot of failure in entrepreneurship, a lot of learning. And so the most important part is to like be consistent. Because when you're starting a business, you're not making profit. You're actually going like negative. You're losing money. You're investing money. You're losing money and putting in more work without any returns. So in that kind of environment where you're not getting returns, you're losing resources, and you might see bad results. You got to be consistent with that. You got to be consistent with learning, consistent with building, consistent with communicating with people. So I'd say consistency is key because people who are consistent will beat those who gave up. People who are consistent will pull ahead of those who aren't being as consistent as they are. So you say consistency is key. I would agree with that 100%.
Yeah. And like when I think of running, we talk about talent a lot, or people talk about talent, or like you said, like, oh, this person's like a great runner. Well, what makes someone a great runner is just like their actions that just kind of add up. And that makes the big action of like winning a race. All those small little things build to that big thing, right?
Right, you don't see all that, right?
You don't see all that, but then that's the cream rises to the top, and it's that consistency, that brings them there, right? Accept the pain. Agree or disagree?
I would agree. This is one other thing I had to learn throughout my career. Before, I would try to, in running, I try to beat the pain, I would try to push my way through it. And I thought that this is what it made you like a strong runner, if you can take the pain, you can like kind of fight it in a way. But fighting the pain, I think this takes away your focus. Trying to beat the pain takes away focus, at least for me, my experiences. And over time, I realized that like focusing more on just the people who's in front of me, focusing more on the track, focusing more, moving my feet forward, focusing there and not on the pain, just accepting the pain as a part of the experience was very changing for me. And I'll say too, there was I use this app called Betwixt, like a self-discovery app, just things about mental health, well-being, and it taught me a few things about how we approach our emotions and our minds and everything. And it told me like how they called our emotional pains or like obstacles inside, they call them monsters. And they said like without these monsters, without the opposition, you won't be able to see your strength. You need them to bring out the best in you. And when I learned that, after that, I had a different approach to my workouts cross country. Because with cross country workouts, to me are so much harder than track workouts. Like the stuff is just different. And I need to have more resiliency in cross country workouts. And when I had that kind of mindset of like, this pain is supposed to be here, this pain is supposed to be here for me to bring out my strength, I just ran different. I no longer was
Yeah.
like, feeling, I don't know, bad or discouraged by pain. I was no longer, trying to fight it. I was like, this is it right here. The pain is here. So now I'm here because of that. Everything seemed okay once I accepted pain as a part of my experience. Helped me actually move me forward instead.
Wow.
So accepting pain is definitely part of running. As for entrepreneurship, there will be pain in entrepreneurship. There will be, for sure, pain in entrepreneurship. Even now, like I'm trying to start working at a startup right now with a partner, and there's been so much problems just like trying to get to our customers, and I've had to do a lot on the side, like, with school as well, and it's a busy schedule. Keep doing like meetings, talking to customers. It's like it takes a lot out of you, and I realized that like on days where I'm like super tired, I had to like make sure I didn't get discouraged in that kind of environment where things are hard or things are hurting or like I feel like I'm not seeing progress. I learned to more accept that rather than try to fight that or to back off from that. I think in both areas, when we try to run or try to build a business, accepting pain will move a lot more forward than trying to fight the pain or reject it.
Yeah. And I appreciate, you just talked just a little bit about mental health too, and like how that can help with performance too. And just like that
Mhm.
mindfulness, can really help you achieve those results, and just like how you think about, what you're doing in practice. And that'll help you in performance. Work only when you're productive and focused. What do you think about that?
Uh, Work only when
When
you're
you're
productive
productive and focused.
and focused. I would say disagree. I personally believe that you should try to go with the rhythms and flows and try to make sure it was equipped to work. It's not because if you keep working your down days, you might burn out. But I think overall, it's more important to work even on days you aren't feeling productive and focused. Because I think that on those days you like when you have a focus or like in you, work can actually change that. Action can change how we think and how we feel. And so let's say for running, there's been plenty of days where I don't want to get up real early for this a long run, 14 miles legs, I'm super tired. Plenty of days where it's just so cold. And I'm like, coach, please let us run inside. There's plenty of days where it's like I'm not in that best productive, that's ready to go kind of mode. And I still had to go outside and do it. I still had to do that workout. Still had to get up and go do that long run. Like how I feel from how productive I feel is not going to dictate what I do. And it calls back to what we said about consistency too. Consistency does not ask if you're feeling okay to work or not. Consistency says let's just get it done no matter what.
There's some benefit to like just getting out the door, like you said, and just like turning the knob is what I'd call it.
Right.
Yeah, continue.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. You're right. Turning the knob will do wonders for you. Also for entrepreneurship, there's definitely you cannot afford to have days where you just don't work because you're not feeling productive or focused. You just cannot afford to have that because in entrepreneurship, you are going against the odds. You're going uphill. Maintaining something or managing a business is so much easier than trying to start a business. Because when you have a business already created, you got momentum, you got structure, you got process. But starting a business requires us a high amount of energy, a high amount of resources, and a high amount of work. And so you can't afford to just back off unless you don't feel focused or productive. You need to keep doing the work at all times to keep it going. Because if you don't, a business will not survive. Like it's like when a newborn child, or like a seedling plant. Like new things, new creations, they need so much support in life and work. And so you can't afford to take off days with that.
Okay, last one. This could get a little deep. Passion is necessary, maybe even obsession.
I agree. It is passion is necessary, maybe even obsession. I don't think you'll ever really, really, truly get to where you want to go without that deep passion. I know in cross country and track, what drove me wasn't just like I don't know, just about just like the awards or on. It was just because it was fun. I had an actual passion for it. And I think you have to those kind of things, especially cross country when you're like racing 5 miles, or if you like track cross country, where you're running outside every single day. You gotta have some sort of fire in you to keep you going, not only to keep you going, but to keep you optimistic. Because of course you could push yourself and keep pushing yourself, but if you don't have that passion, you might be just breaking down inside, getting discouraged. Be like, I don't want to be here. You gotta have passion to both push through every day and also enjoy that process and be optimistic. And so I would say to actually get to the level you want to get to, you definitely need passion to be consistent. You need that passion to feel good inside of what you're doing as well. As about entrepreneurship, I don't think it's worth it to go into beyond passion, because there's so much required out of you to start a business, to create a new product. That without a real passion in you, if you're just trying to work at it, you burn yourself out. You will burn yourself out. You need to have passion, because like things will go wrong. Things will go, your plans will fail. New challenges just rise up out of nowhere. You have to pivot to different directions. And to keep going forward in that kind of environment, you need to have passion for what you're doing. And your obsession is say, I'm into this. I'm not going to just do it, but I'm going to love this. I'm going to love the pain and the challenges. Whatever comes, I'm going to keep going forward. That's passion right there that keeps you going.
Wow. And you've already kind of touched on this a little bit, just talking about burnout. I think a good analogy maybe for like a business or entrepreneurship would be to like balance your workload just like you would your training load in running. So if you're like a distance runner that's gone through a long training plan, right? Think of it like a season. There's going to be a point in the season where you're going to have to peak. You're going to have to really put in some work, some high mileage. And then, you're going to have that time where you maybe reward yourself a little bit. You get down that slope, but you got to be ready to work up that hill again, get to that peak again. Like there's going to be hard work, and there's going to be times that test you just enough, but you can't overtrain. You got to balance that workload. Wouldn't you say?
I would say for sure. I mean, balance is so key. I like how you said that, because there's definitely a rhythm to things. There's a rhythm to the highs and lows, and times. There's a time for every stage, a time for every season. So for sure, having that balance and knowing where you're at and balancing different levels of things will keep you going further, further out. You don't want to, like you said, burn out quick. You want to play the long game with this.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so that wraps up that segment. Wow, we already got a bunch of great lessons from Biel. Yeah, entrepreneurship again just shines through. So next I'm going to interview Biel. My first question: why have you been able to continue to progress in your running from high school to college? And maybe can you just like touch just a little bit about your times? Maybe from when you came to Apollo to when you left, and then going into college.
Shifted my performance going from Blaine High School to Apollo High School. Like when I switched to Apollo High School, I just started seeing a whole lot more than I did before. I think a part of that was too that like at Apollo High School, like at Blaine, I wasn't the best on the team, but like at Apollo, I was like near the top. Especially I had you, Logan, it was you and me who were near the top there. We were going like 1 and 2. And so having that that kind of environment where I was like expected to do very well, and I had someone with me to be well too, it just pushed me much further. So I think even before college, it's like in that kind of setting, to have someone near you to be pushed towards greatness, it's like it helped me perform better. And I think I didn't break 5-minute miles until I got to Apollo High School, for one thing. And that's
Wow. And then what did you run? Yeah. So I mean, you came to Apollo as a senior, so you ran with me when you were a senior, right? So before you hadn't even broke 5 in the mile, and then what happened your senior year?
I think I got down to like what, 4:27, something like that. It was
like we were both like 4:25, 4:26.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Like a bunch of races. We did it like 3 times, like right by each other.
Man, I love that, man. The 1-2 era, that was a great season.
That was so fun. All right. So then, how did you progress in college?
In college, I came out really strong in college. I was definitely more track minded coming to college. I wanted to run for track. I was doing cross country more like a training thing, which changed over time. But for cross country, my first season, I broke 26 my first season. I got like 25, maybe 46, something like that. My first year as a freshman. And I also went to regionals. I went to nationals too, first time. So I going to nationals for the first time as a freshman. I felt very confident. I felt I was performing very well. And it actually almost was bad for me in the sense that like now that I was a freshman and it's so well, like later on in my college career, I felt more pressure to keep being that good. Because if you're a freshman, go to national, I'm like, I got to keep getting better somehow, right? And
Yeah.
so I was being in a high competitive environment with my team. St. Thomas really has a really good team, strong culture as well. Allowed me to achieve and to do well. I'd say one actually hindrance maybe was that early success, like warped my mindset about that, because I didn't expect that to happen. Now I felt pressure to keep it going. And then going on to track, I had a pretty solid season. I went to conference, I'm pretty sure like every year for track, indoor and outdoor. So I was pretty solid. And then I got down to, by senior year, I got down to like a 412, 413 for my mile. Yeah. And then as for cross country again, I went to national sophomore year, which was good. And then I think the year after that was COVID year. So I didn't even race cross country that year.
And then, so something interesting about your career, you actually ran Division III and Division I, but you didn't transfer. You're at the same school. So can you explain that experience running for St. Thomas when they transitioned from D3 to D1?
That was a once in a lifetime experience. I'm so glad that I was here at St. Thomas when that happened because everything changed. Everything has got elevated. Because D3, we knew our competitors were. Everybody was racing these kind of times, And once we shifted to D1, it's like everybody was just so much better. It was a different level of competitiveness, different level of athletes too. And we had to shift with that. We couldn't just like do what we were doing before. We had to shift ourselves. And over like a very quick period of time. And I'll say that was a very exciting time being there for that change. It was also, a little worrisome too, because people were like wondering like, how are we gonna do, But in times of change, in times of like challenges, it's like there's opportunity there to change everything for the better. There's opportunity there, and we took that opportunity. I think we were like predicted to get like 4th or 5th in the conference cross country, and we placed like second place actually. It was a really big
second
surprise.
Place.
So it was an exciting shift. Everything changed, and we had to elevate our game to meet the rise to the challenge.
What were the major differences, would you say, not only competing at that level, but like training?
I would say one, even as the team itself changed. We had to cut half our team in cross country. Went from like 30 people or so, 30 guys, that's like 15 to 12, and lots of people on the way too. So we were like a dozen guys training, and that was so much different. It's like everything mattered so much more then, because now we were all selected. Not everybody made it to that position, and so we all felt like we were selected. So it was more serious. Things had more weight to what we did. So the thing is a lot more focused. We're a lot leaner too. That shifted things. We're also tighter as well because we're just a smaller team.
I can't imagine if the team changed that drastically. How much that would play into like the day to the day and the practice and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then something we haven't mentioned yet. So you did like an ROTC program or like a military program while you've been in college, correct?
Actually, yeah, for a year. I'm the National Guard. I tried ROTC for a year, but I didn't pursue it after that.
So what did that pose any challenges to your training in college, or did that change anything?
It actually did, yeah. I wanted to do ROTC. ROTC is like a training program to help people. You go join the program for 4 years in college, and you come out as an officer automatically. And so I tried it for a year, and it definitely was harder things for me training wise because I had to get up early like every single morning and to go do like physical training at the U of M. And I also like take classes there as well. So I was just traveling back and forth more, and I had to I had to work out with them as well too some days. And so just like having that extra thing added to my schedule on top of that made it harder for me to just like have energy for everything.
Not only a student athlete. Yeah, not only a student athlete, but also ROTC. Like, it is so funny. Sometimes we're running, and then we see like the ROTC group running. like it's like 6:30 or 7 a.m. Like I'm doing a double or something because I have to before like student teaching or something. And these people are up before me, like 30 of them in a group running around campus. Like, I couldn't imagine, having to do something like that on top of, or they're doing like push-ups or like some fitness test or whatever it is.
PT test.
Yeah. And now that your college career in terms of running at St. Thomas has come to an end. What were your favorite moments?
I'd say the most recent favorite moment I had was the night before our country conference. That we all met up in our coach's hotel room and everything. And that was my final, pre-race, talk with the team. We guys, we all get our, our motivation. We, talk what's going to happen. And this one, I think, was different from all the rest we've ever had. It really was. I'm not sure why. It's our second year D1, and, we had a lot of seniors who were leaving. I think it's made it extra special for us. And more people than usual spoke up, too, had words to share. And people shared, too, and on our Snapchat group chat, and they said some words, and, our coach gave a speech, too. And, I spoke up as well. And, we were all speaking our minds. And there was so much just, energy and emotion and this unity in the air. It was, tangible how engaged we all were, how connected we all were, how much just, passion we had for what we're going to do, how much just, love and commitment we had to each other as well. We were just all, it was we were like a family. And then being in that room right there, I felt so many emotions. That was one of my favorite moments. It's also my coach's 30-year anniversary too for coaching. So we gave him a little a little gift and said a few words to him as well. So that was a very special moment, and I remember that for a long time.
Wow, that's pretty powerful. And I think it showed that next day. St. Thomas really runs well together too. Fewer guys just come in as a group, just kicking down together.
Definitely, I can sense that when we're racing too. When people accompany each other too, there's just so much more motivation, encouragement once we pull up on each other. I'll definitely in my mindset when I see my fellow Tommy, I feel stronger. I just start racing harder. To get right. So if I can get right by them, they'll feel better. They'll feel more focused when we're together racing. So yeah, it's definitely a good team aspect on the races.
So back to high school. What can you remember about high school track and training together? So I'd like to start. I remember my first workout that I did with you. I think it was an indoor track, at the indoor track or something. We did some 8x400, typical miler workout or whatever. I just remember feeling like I had never felt before, like death, because up to that point at Apollo, I just hadn't been pushed at that level yet. And literally I threw up 3 times that year running the mile. I've never thrown up that much in a season. So what can you remember about just racing, practicing, all the above?
From practices, this remember is a different level. Like I said, the performance I had there was this next tier. And I felt so much more just compelled to just do better. We were pushed harder as well. As for the races, oh man, the races to me was just so fun. That's what I remember so much. It's us getting ready to go for it. The mile, the 100, maybe a relay in there too. It's it was always, I feel like multiple events we were doing, multiple events. And it was so exciting at the time. And us just going back and forth, winning races, going 1-2, it was just, I remember being super fun. Training was hard, but the races to me, oh my God, the best times.
Yeah, I remember a mile race this one time. It was us and then 2 Sartell runners, and we came across the line, and it was 4 of us within half a second or something.
Oh,
which is ridiculous.
Literally.
And then, so I have a question for you. What is driven AI?
Driven AI. That is my current startup I'm working on. My partner, Sam Richter. Basically, we want to create demand forecasts for Uber and Lyft drivers. We build a weekly plan to tell them when and where to drive and how much money they'll make. And let's get the notifications throughout their day to guide them where to go. We can say hey, you should drop a ride off over here. So how about you go to the bars, pick up some patrons, or go pick some people after the game is let out. So go over to this location, pick people up. Basically, it's getting the guide and scheduling plan to make more money so they can drive less and make more income.
Awesome. And then you entered a competition. So how did that go?
That's right. Actually, I've entered a few competitions. This year has been really busy. I joined my partner Sam in January, and so far we've raised over $20,000 in grants and competition money. And so we've been doing a lot of presentations, competitions. We had a few in the spring semester. I was in the business play competition. We got second place. We won $5,000, which is great. And we also our most recent one was the Fowler and GSCA. The Fowler, we were only semifinals. We got $1,000 for that. GSCA, we got third place out of I think 19 people.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what are you working towards now with Driven AI?
Right now, I'm mostly the customer guy. My partner is he knows how to code the things, he knows how to work with the data and plan things out. Both like making the strategy plans. Right now, I'm talking to customers, so there's Uber, Lyft drivers. I literally just when I order a ride, I talk to them. If I go if I go out with my friends one night, we have Uber. I literally pause like a 2 minutes just to talk to them before we go. They like and everything. So I'm really just like talking to drivers. I've been going to the airport parking lot. They have like a lot there for drivers to park in. So I've been talking to them. So right now I'm in pursuit talking to drivers. And right now we have like a prototype made. So we start sending emails to drivers to help test it out, get feedback from them. And I'm gonna do that like part-time because I'm gonna try and find a full-time job for this next year. Work on Driven part-time.
Well done. And then what are your plans in the future for running?
I thought about that. I'm like, especially after this season, I was like, can't be done after this. After that, like, I want to at the very least run casually on my own for fun, for my own health, because I like it just for fun. So that's the bottom line. I've considered, doing like city races, trying to see what that would look like. I don't know what level of competition I need to bring to, how much I need to invest in it. Like, what I need to like make a full-time run every single day. So I'm still figuring that out. But at the race right now, I'm going to keep running is where I'm at.
Good. At least Biel Wiel will still be running, and he'll still be the best name in running. Okay, so that concludes the interview portion of the episode. Next, we have Rapid Refresh, a segment where I ask my guests too many questions for them to answer in a timely manner. First, what job have you learned the most from?
Vector marketing. Sold nice people, had to set up appointments, had to talk to them about this product, tell them why it was important, how it could help them and what their problems. I learned a lot from just about communication and sales in that job.
What are your thoughts on Coach Justin Darrow?
I love that man. He's one part super coach and one part just a really good friend. He's there for the people. He loves us. He loves his team. He knows how to train us as well. He brought us up. That man brought us up.
Yeah. I actually had Justin on the podcast, so you can go back a couple episodes, watch that. Cross country or track, and why?
Oh, it used to always be track, but now after 4 years, I gotta say cross country.
I don't know, man. Why?
I used to be those guys. I was like, everybody asks, we were a cross runner and track. They always say I like cross country more. I'm like, what? Why? Like, because it's a 5-mile race. But they got to me. I'm not one of them.
You know what? What's a kilometer, and why is there 8 of them? That's all I have to say.
I don't know. I still don't know what a kilometer is. It's like,
what is a misconception about the Army or National Guard, ROTC?
I would say that everything is just like all smooth and it's all very organized and all this goes perfectly. Like we're all, because there's a lot of bureaucratic issues in the Army that I don't think most people know about. So if I get something that's all smooth, perfect, all organized, it's definitely a lot of things that like go too slow or whatever. Found that out the hard way a few times,
Oof. And then what are some other interests you have besides running?
Human nature, psychology, spirituality. Also, I'm a Christian. It's anything about humanity, how we work, mind, body, and soul. I am deeply fascinated about. And the second thing too, like social justice, social issues, something about how we function in society historically, and we're going in the future as well. I'm interested in that too.
Interesting. Who is your inspiration?
My inspiration, I gotta say, my mom. I might be cliche, but ever since I was young, I watched. She's a single mother raising me up, so I watched her work hard every day. I remember those times we didn't have a car, walked to the grocery store. Where she kept working until she had a car. She kept working until she tried to go to college for a few years. I saw her staying up late nights after work, just studying her textbook. I saw her working double shifts for 2 jobs sometimes. So all my life growing up, I saw how much focus she had, how much diligence. It didn't matter what challenges came up. It didn't matter what changed. It didn't matter what she felt. She did what needed to be done, and she kept focused. She had consistency, and she taught me so much. And she's been my inspiration for sure.
Yeah, no, that's not cliche at all, and definitely an inspirational. What is your guilty pleasure?
Famous Dave's. I've been it's
Famous
an
Dave's.
issue. I don't know about that place. I think a few months ago it was and it changed everything. There's some food shop and like the thing is I DoorDash them is the issue and it gets like $30 to get their 2 meat combo, but it's so good. They got a corn muffin in there. It's like my comfort food. So that's my guilty pleasure. I always order it feeling bad, but it tastes so good.
All right. And then I was just going to ask this. So, what is your favorite place in the Twin Cities to eat?
Oh, okay. Actually, I wouldn't say Famous Dave's because I don't eat at their place, but I would say, I'll go with Ty's Lounge. Even it's not even about so much the food. The food actually wasn't that great, but it's just a big, spacious area. They got like a roof patio place. So many. I went there. It's like cool lights, good music going on, just good energy overall. So I'd say Ty's Lounge just for that atmosphere there.
Any other places?
I gotta say, I went to this really cool fondue place. I don't remember what it's called, but I went with my sisters, and like that amazed me. Seeing them heat up the food there on the table, I was like, "This is crazy." That's my first time eating fondue and everything. But yeah, there's a fondue place I liked as well.
Great. And then what are you looking forward to in the future?
For the near future, I'm looking forward to not having any more exams or deadlines. I think I'll be feeling very free. Looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to starting my first business, being in the thick of it, getting like the investment money and like actually getting the team together once we start expanding. And we're starting it now, but once we start expanding it, looking forward to that as well. And I'd say third thing is traveling. I really want to travel. I have family in Africa I want to visit. So I want to go I want to go anywhere in the world. I love traveling. So I want to go, I want to go to Africa, South Sudan, Kenya. I want to go to South America too. I want to go to Peru and Brazil. So looking forward to that chance I can get to actually see the world.
Yeah, that is beautiful. And then this is maybe the opposite of traveling. But if you could get rid of any state, what would it be and why?
If I get rid of any states, this might offend some of the Ohio listeners, but I gotta say Ohio.
Ooh,
I think I get rid of Ohio.
I
I
do
just
know a guy from Ohio.
my condolences for him.
Why?
To me, I don't even know. Just they don't give me a reason for them to stay. I guess is what it is. Like I don't see anything special to me. This is a very small state, I think.
Right. Well, my answer, as always, is Iowa, just to bug my roommate. That's literally it.
One of our
There's no
neighbors.
other reason. Iowa's actually okay. I quite like Iowa. But if we could just get rid of it, I would be fine. And then who are your biggest supporters? Shout them out.
Wow. I'd say Maria Ambrose, Mason Kibuka, my sister, Biel Wiel, and my mother, Bunja. My biggest supporters right there. They've been there for me for like the highs and lows. I feel like I can always go to them for anything,
All right. That concludes Rapid Refresh. So how can they follow you on social media or reach you, Biel?
Yes, you can reach me on Instagram, Biel Wiel, or even connect with me on LinkedIn too as well for a business professional. That's BIELWIEL, Biel Wiel. Honestly, all platforms, I'm just Biel Wiel. Not a lot of people got that name, so it's
like I said, the best name in cross country and track. So leave a review. If you're listening on a podcasting platform, please refresh that like button, subscribe, check out any past episodes. I had Coach Justin on, Biel Wiel approved. And then post every Sunday at noon. You have anything that you wish I asked you or anything you want to say while you can right now?
I just want to say, Logan, I am so, so glad that I moved from Coon Rapids to St. Cloud and got to run with you, man. It's been an amazing. We only had 1 year together. We had some years too during college. It's been an amazing experience. You're a great guy. Thank you, Logan.
Thank you. And I'm glad that I ran into you. And I'm even more glad that St. Thomas became D1 and moved to the Summit League because we also got to race against each other. I mean, we got the greatest picture ever. It was on the Summit League website, us shaking hands after the race. It'll probably be the thumbnail. But yeah.
It's my phone background, actually.
Yeah, that was incredible. So that's all I've got. That's all Biel's got. Have a great Sunday.
See y'all.